And so he heard the words. His mother said to him, "Son, why have you done this to us? Your father and I have been looking for you with great anxiety." And he said to them, "Why were you looking for me? Did you not know I must be in my Father's house?" With this statement, Jesus, when he came of age, when he was 12 years old, gently transferred the title of Father from Saint Joseph to God the Father, because that's how we live. We live as people who are grounded in the earth, and yet our hearts and our souls are embedded in heaven. We are earthly creatures, but we are also heavenly creatures. We have fathers here on earth, but we also have a Father in heaven. This is how we're called to live, and it is important that we're aware of this. Today we celebrate, along with the Feast of St. Joseph, International Day for the students of Oakland Catholic High School. And it's appropriate that we do that here in this cathedral, because the church had her inception on the day of Pentecost, where the message of the Lord was communicated to people of every tribe, every nation, every language, and every culture, as they were all gathered together in one room. The unique aspect of the church is its universality. The fact that what makes us most human and secures our dignity is something that comes to us from heaven and that transcends any of our particularities. We have earthly fathers and a heavenly Father. But the most important role of that earthly Father is that he revealed to us the nature of our heavenly Father, in the same way that mothers must communicate to their children their faith, their tradition, their heritage, their belief. One of my earthly father's favorite passages from the Bible was that of the prodigal son, the parable of the prodigal son, which is also known as the forgiving father. And the reason it was so important to him was because it taught him what fatherhood was all about. He knew that he had to strive to live up to the description of that forgiving father in that parable, a father whose son left the home and went on his way to the adventures of the world, eventually came to his senses and returned home, not expecting to be embraced, not expecting to be accepted, but to be a servant in his father's house. And his father welcomed him with open arms and rejoiced at his return, because the son who had been lost to him was now found, and the son who was dead to him was now alive. And this is the calling, the behavior, the example that we should receive from fathers everywhere, to sons and daughters. What my father emphasized to my brother and me, what he said repeatedly, and he meant it, was that there may be times when I'm disappointed with you, and there may be times when I'm frustrated with you. There may be times when I will be upset, but there is nothing you can do that will make you lose my love. Nothing you can do that will make you lose my love. This is the example of the kind of fatherhood that is patterned after our Heavenly Father. It's what all fathers and mothers must learn how to do in relation to their children. And this is why, although St. Joseph may have been frustrated after the 3 days of searching for Jesus and ultimately finding him in the temple, he could not have been very disappointed in the realization that his son was coming of age, growing in faith, and curious about his Heavenly Father so that he could be modeled after him. When I entered full communion with the Catholic Church, growing up in a Methodist household, and my family was very devoutly Methodist, and proud of it, I was nervous about approaching my father and telling him that I was going to enter the Catholic Church. I didn't know how he or my mother would take it. I didn't want them to get the impression that I was rejecting the faith that they had brought me up in. But I knew that in entering full communion with the Catholic Church, that I was getting a more complete picture than I'd received thus far in my journey of faith. The missing pieces of the puzzle were there. And so I nervously approached my father, and he asked me questions and I answered them. But I remembered the critical point, the connection of heart to heart between the two of us. When I said to him, "Dad, I'm not rejecting what you and Mom have given me. What I am seeking is to embrace it more fully." He understood that, and I understood him. Our earthly fathers are important, but all of us are ultimately called to be drawn to our Heavenly Fathers. And it is important that our earthly fathers are windows, are vehicles through which we encounter that Heavenly Father. All of us on our journeys of life must make our own decisions. But let those decisions be guided by our ultimate destiny and faith. It is from God that we come. It is from God that we return. And let the example of St. Joseph be a model for us, that whatever we do here on earth will only be fruitful if it's patterned after the gifts we receive from heaven. God bless you.